What is going on, people? Welcome back to the YouTube channel and another episode of Building Classic, and the building is well and truly underway. We have executed the 13-week health phase and we are now 2 weeks in to the first official push-up of this off-season with escalated PEDs. I had a very exciting check-in this morning with Dan and I responded to him saying it felt like the master plan. We have reverse engineered our timeline with all of the phases leading up to the Arnold in 2027. So in today's video, I'm going to run you through my coaching sheets, show you the timeline and the phases that break down within that, and the plan of action on how I'm going to make the improvements necessary to give me the best opportunity to turn pro on the biggest stage in the world. So very exciting times. We've then got a huge leg day on the cards today, which I will take you through as well. So I'm sure Dan won't mind me taking you through my coaching sheet so I can show you on screen how each phase leads into the next and how our timeline looks all the way up until prep, which starts at the back end of the year. So I'm going to take you through now. So I truly feel if you're an athlete trying to maximize your progress, it is pivotal that you reverse engineer from a set goal with individual phases across a timeline. And the reason this is so important is because number one, it creates clarity. You and your coach, or just you as an individual, has a true understanding of what phases need to be executed and the length of each phase to take you to that set goal. It is all about accumulating successive phases on top of each other to accumulate to that end goal. It also creates such a sense of urgency. I received this check-in this morning and it added so much fuel to the fire, knowing how little time I have in each phase to maximize progress, to ensure that I'm in that competitive position to start a prep, and just knowing that I've only got 24 weeks, I believe, of growing left in this off-season adds so much fuel to the fire. And it just creates such a sense of importance and urgency in each phase, which makes it so much more enjoyable. Because when you have a long-term goal that is in the distant future, it can seem very far away. And this creates complacency in some individuals. But when you chunk it down phase by phase, you reverse engineer, you almost feel like you have no room for complacency because each phase has a direct impact on the following phase. So if we come over to my coaching sheets here, you can see we have done this for the past 4 years of working together, but I'm going to start from the prep that ended at the start of November in Poland. We then came into a 13-week health phase. Okay, so coming down to physiological ranges of a hormonal profile, recovering from post-show, and you'll see we track our scale weight here just so we can see where that average trend goes over week to week, and then we come into the next phase here. So this is where the off-season truly starts, where we're able to drive serious changes and serious adaptations onto the physique now that we are escalating up and going into a super physiological environment of hormones. So we have a 14-week period ahead of us here with escalated PEDs. Every single week needs to be flawless. This is not a long period of time. It not only needs to be flawless, but it needs to be successive, and there needs to be no injuries, no niggles within this time. So that will take us up until May. And then in May, we then have a 7-week bridge. So this is another health phase where we come back down, give the body a rest, and likely will pull into a short and sharp aggressive deficit to regain a runway so we can continue pushing again when we go back on. So this short mini cut here will need to be executed perfectly if it's to be done within 6 weeks. So I can see my scale weight getting all the way up to maybe 112 to 115 kilos by this point. We will then do a short, sharp pullback, pull off 6 kilos in 6 weeks, resensitize, get the body responsive, and then we push on again. Now, this 7-week bridge is quite short. And this is another reason why timelines and phases are so important, because it drives decision making. When you know how long you have within a phase, that is going to alter how aggressive you need to be within each phase as well. And knowing we have a short turnaround and a shorter off season here, we will need to be more aggressive in our approach in both the deficits we put ourselves into, but also the surplus as well. And it will drive decision-making on a PED front, on a training front, on a food escalation front. So we are pushing relatively hard out the gate in this 14-week blast now from a food point of view. PED is still not crazy aggressive, but will be relatively progressive across this phase, knowing that we've got a short period of time. It'll also influence kind of compound selection as well with kind of half-lives and things like that. So really, really important. So that 7-week bridge will then take us up until the end of June. And then we have our final improvement phase before prep. And you can just instantly see how all of a sudden that off-season's gone when you look at it this way. So we have a 14-week improvement phase then, and in the back end of that improvement phase, we'll start a pre-prep diet, which is just getting the body into striking range of scale weight, so we don't need to kind of start prep from peak off-season scale weight. So we'll do a pre-prep diet going into the health phase. We'll then hold before prep. Opportunity there to regain some tools, drive up food hopefully, and get us in the perfect start point to start prep likely at the end of November. And then we have our pro-carb prep. And I can go into this next prep confident in saying that this isn't testing the waters anymore. There is one goal in mind, and that is what this whole off-season and all of these phases are accumulating to. So we will start prep at the back end of November and head out to America, which is likely to be on the 5th to the 7th of March. If there is any pro qualifiers on home soil prior, which I don't believe there is, we may do that, but we obviously need to wait for timelines and show schedules to come out. So this is the timeline. Just to give you a real quick update on the current stats on what I am currently executing. We are still on 10,000 steps a day. We haven't got cardio, but at the minute we have extensive posing work both in the morning and post-workout, minimum of kind of 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, 10 to 15 minutes post-workout. And then on top of that, we'll have our morning routine with the abs and a very fast-paced walk. So that's almost currently acting as our cardio, and when body weight starts to creep up higher, we'll then deploy cardio as a tool to keep me fit and healthy as we kind of head up until the top end of the scales to keep me healthier as we start to progress on the scales to kind of uncharted territory. In regards to nutrition, we made a bump in this morning's check-in, so we're up to 4,311 calories on a training day, 3,465 on a rest day. I will say the calories are higher than this when I plug this into MyFitnessPal. By the time I add in vegetables, which Dan gives me free reign on, and by the time I add on kind of like condiments and other kind of hidden calories that creep in, we're probably at around about 4,600 on a training day and around about 3,600, 700 on a rest day. So I will be sure to do a full day of eating soon. I believe I have a high day being deployed in the coming weeks as well. So I'll be sure to film that full day of eating when that comes around. In regards to PEDs, I don't want to go into specifics. It's individual to me, my journey, my process, my experience, but I can obviously give you a brief outline of where we are at with that. So we started this phase off on a 700 total anabolic load, milligrams per week, and we've now escalated that up to 1,000 milligrams. That will probably stay put here. We've then got growth hormone in daily, pre-bed at 5 IU, and then we are taking some peptides in the morning in SS31 and MOTC, just at 1 milligram every morning, just for the mitochondria efficiency, and then also SLU as well. So that is pretty much it in regards to assistance. And then in regards to training, it is the same split as I've started this off-season on. Lower hamstring dominant, onto upper, rest day, pull and triceps, quad bias leg day on a Friday, push and biceps on a Saturday, rest on a Sunday. So that's the plan of attack. That's the master plan. That is how the remainder of this year is going to unfold. This is always subject to change. Subject to change based off blood work, based off biofeedback, based on how I'm feeling as an athlete, and based on kind of show schedules, right? So it's important to have this framework in mind. It doesn't mean it needs to be stuck to a T, but having this direction, this urgency, this clarity is so powerful as an athlete. So I highly suggest you doing it if you haven't yet. Okay, it's time for quads, a huge, important session. So I'll meet you guys at the gym.
Okay, people, so I am situated outside the gym, ready to execute the most demanding and pivotal session of the week in my quad bias leg day. As you've seen by the timelines this morning, every single session is so important. There is no room for error from an execution point of view here. Every session needs to be flawless. We need to build as much momentum as possible to maximize progress in the short time that we have left available, because these sessions are going to very quickly vanish. So I'm very excited. I'm ready. The body is feeling good. I'm feeling so fresh. Notable increase in energy this week, which is really nice. A notable improvement in sleep. So I'm really feeling up for this session. I haven't actually trained this leg day here in about 3 weeks because I've been on the road up to Derby and to other gyms over the past few weeks. So I'm not going to film everything today. I think I'm just going to mic up on a few of the big sets, deliver some cues that I'm going to apply during the exercise, and hopefully just set the standard and show you how it's done. So the pre is in the system, the logbook is written out. Time to get my head in the game, get the headphones in, no distractions, get primed for the session with a bit of mobility, and get stuck in and show you how we go on.
Okay. sets here that drive up serious anxiety, nerves, adrenaline. But if you're not feeling that, you're not training hard enough. And the better I've got at training, the more this anxiety is probably driven up, because my ability to actually cause pain and that stimulus is just through the roof now. And there's a different type of anxiousness, getting under like a heavy load and just moving something for 5 or 6 reps. And then there's that adrenaline and that nerves that pick up from being under so much pain and time under tension for a minute and a half. And this contraption here certainly does that. So empty the tank. I feel like I'm entering the fucking ring here. Come on. Yeah, come on, and again, come on. That's it, fucking strong, come on. Beautiful. No words will do this machine justice on how painful this is unless you experience it yourself and get dragged through a set. You get so heavy towards that shortened position, especially with the band, it's almost like you're contracting on a leg extension. Yet it draws you into that pocket, and resisting against that, you can just recruit so much here. We're going to try a slightly different approach on this back off, and this is where I've been a little bit more loose with my training style, not being so married to the logbook, just trying out slightly different approaches and just focusing purely on stimulus and tension and recruitment. So on this back off here, what we're going to do, we're going to come into the pocket, generate as much tension as possible. We're going to contract out to get peak tension, get the rec fem on, and then pause, and then drive into a contraction straight back into the next rep, keeping tension on. So we're just going to pause in the pocket, pause just outside the pocket to peak tension, and then drive through to a contraction after that. Dan to blame for this and his sadistic approaches to certain sets, but it's good fun. This back off, I'll either rotate in like a 1.5 rep set, a high rep 15 to 20, or a different approach like this, which I tried last week and it was just disgustingly good. So let's see how we get on. Get them on. Oh, fuck. Okay, people, so a very successful leg session, but I want to wrap today's video up with another off-season hack to save you some money. In the last video, we talked about the pineapple, buying them fresh. And almond butters and nut butters in general are so expensive, like £3.50 for a jar. So we're going to attempt to make our own. I don't know how successful this is going to be, but a pack of almonds is like £1.50, and I think this is going to make a very big jar. It's so simple, or at least it's meant to be simple. We'll see how it goes. So what we need to do is simply roast the almonds in the oven. So we're going to go a whole pack. So we're going to roast these at 180 degrees for 10 minutes to warm them up. I think it's meant to make them a little more subtle so they'll blend together properly. And it's a very simple process after that. So we're going to chuck these in the oven at 180 degrees. And I'll meet you guys back in 10 minutes time. Okay people, 10 minutes is up. It smells good. See what that smells like? It smells like fucking cake. Well, they certainly look roasted. A little bit darker in complexion. So we need to let these sit for a few minutes because they're not that hot, but they've got to cool a little bit. And then we've got, I'll show you, we've got a NutriBullet. ESN were kind enough to gift this to me for Christmas. It's a portable blender. The only issue is, I don't know if you need a bit more of like an industrial blender to actually blend up almonds. It seems pretty powerful. There's a high chance I'm going to break this blender upon first use, but we will soon find out. So, essentially, we put the almonds in, and apparently you need to blend it for 10 to 15 minutes. It'll initially go to like a crumb, and then it should start to bring out the oils and go into an actual like butter. I think then we can add in a few ingredients, a bit of salt. Some people add in honey and things like that. I think we're going to add in a bit of flavour powder to sweeten it up, and we'll see how we get on. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's keep our fingers crossed. So we're going to let these cool for a few minutes, get them in the blender, and then see what happens. Right, they've cooled down for all of 30 seconds. I'm getting impatient, so we're going to put these in here. We do actually have a bigger blender, which we probably should have gone for, but we're going to put the NutriBullet to the test and see what this is going to do. I'm very interested to see how much a 200 gram pack of almonds is going to make from a consistency point of view. We bought a nice jar to put in as well.
What?
A little hot.
I told you.
You might want to hold it down. I'm a bit worried it's going to take off. You know what I mean?
I'll just hold it down.
Well, no, just press it once. Press it. I'm scared. Ah.
Wow.
Oh.
I don't get like that.
Yeah, it's fine. Blender's not happy, bro.
No.
Oh, shit. Well, that was a bit of a fail. Out comes the bigger blender. Let's see if that's got the minerals. Let's have a look.
Listen to a woman.
Fuck off, because you said
I
oh,
said
it's
to you,
fine. Right, we've upgraded to the bigger NutriBullet. Right, hit the blend and go. Shit in hell. Yeah, alright, nice. Yeah, look at it, it's going to see the oil. So you're going to take a few minutes of this piece. Fucking hell, it's chicken out. Whoa. Okay, so we've scraped it off the sides. You can see the oils are starting to come out. So we're going to add in a little bit of flavour powder from ESN. We're going to use the speculoos flavour. A bit of caramel with a nut. I think it's going to work really well. And this is going to help sweeten the almond butter up without using any sugar or honey or anything that's going to add excessive calories. 2 of these.
2?
Yeah?
I don't think you need 2.
1.5 then.
Look at the amount of almonds in there.
3. Making this up as I go along. Right. Oh. Well, we've got half it stuck at the top. So after many minutes of blending, we seem to have an almond butter. Moment of truth. Oh my word. Creamy. Steaming. It looks like a Biscoff paste almost. Cool. I can't lie, I'm more of a crunchy nut butter guy, but to have a smooth alternative, it's going to be very nice, especially when adding it to your savoury meals like your chicken and rice. Cut to the chase and have a little taste tester.
Hold on.
Hey?
you want a spoon?
That's better than store-bought almond butter all day. It's nice, it's warm as well, where it's just been blended. Very, very good. So there we have it, homemade almond butter. I think I need a few more bags of almonds to fill a huge jar like this up, but it's gonna save you so much money in comparison to the store-bought almond butters, and it genuinely tastes better. I'm gonna try this on a meal later on and see what it's like, but another little off-season hack for you, and I'll try and deliver as many of these as I can across the space of this series. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed, so you don't miss another video of this off-season series. It's going to get exciting now that we're continuing to push up and really drive progress. So make sure to like the video, comment what you'd like to see next, and I'll see you in the next one.